the morning. You'll be gone without warning. All the best players have gone out online. He's getting sacked in the morning.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to Sacked in the Morning, the football podcast that's doing its second Minisode. My name is Richard. I am your host pretty much all the time for every show, except one. But, you know, whatever. It's not like I'm bitter or anything. Yeah, fine. This week I'm joined by Tom. How are you, Tom?
Good, thank you for asking.
Very good. And that is all. No one else available at the moment, I'm afraid. So everyone seems to be busy with lives and stuff. So yes, just us two and a nice little mini-sode just to keep you ticking over. So, Tom, you said you wanted to talk about something this week. Or did I make you?
I certainly do. Yeah.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Yeah. I want to talk about, what's his name?
Poochie.
Poochie, that's what I want to talk about. Poochie's impact in the football community. No. So I want to talk about two players who were basically like stalwarts in their team in the last 10 years in the Premier League.
Okay.
Permanent fixtures in their team, like every week for the last decade or so. And have recently become forgotten men, really.
Okay.
In the last few months. And those players are Hugo Lloris and David De Gea.
Okay.
Two Premier League goalkeepers who, as I said, have been playing, consistently for their team week in, week out for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Hugo Lloris, I think, more than 10 years with Spurs.
12, I think.
Yeah, and De Gea joined when Ferguson was there, right? Yeah. Like 2010, 11. So, well over a decade for both of them.
Yeah.
But now...
He doesn't have a club at the moment, does he?
De Gea doesn't have a club, no. And Hugo Lloris, I was shocked to learn didn't get a move and is still at Tottenham.
Yeah, he's actually registered in the Premier League squad.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I was like, what? He's still there?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't get a move?
Just sitting at home getting the money.
Yeah, bear in mind, this is a goalkeeper that played in a World Cup final last December. Mm-hmm. Hugo Lloris.
Yep. I don't think it's the same goalkeeper, though.
And he couldn't find a club.
I think there's two Hugo Llorises, like, they're twins.
You reckon?
One shows up for the France games and one shows up for the Spurs games. Yeah, no, he is still there. But he turned down all the moves, apparently.
Okay.
Tottenham were happy to give him a move, but apparently he just didn't want to move to any of the clubs that came in for him.
Okay, it's kind of strange they didn't want to move to any. I mean, I don't know what clubs came in for him.
I think AC Milan or Inter Milan. It was definitely one of the Milan teams that came in for him.
But I'm guessing he would have been a backup, though.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Maybe Inter might be number one. I don't know who their number one is.
Either Sevilla or Valencia.
Right.
One of the two smaller but not too small Spanish clubs. And then there was no French teams because I think he probably would have gone home if that was the case, unless it was a really small team like Metz or something like that. But and then there was a German team, Leipzig. I think Leipzig came in for him as well.
That could have been a good move.
But basically, he just turned them all down.
Kind of strange how, obviously the writing was on the end of the wall at the end of last season when he let in, is it 5 or 6?
It was the Newcastle game, wasn't it?
Newcastle, and he was at the team immediately afterwards through injury, supposedly.
Well, no, it's actually come down now, the insider information that he basically down tools and left. During the game,
right?
He basically just like down tools and said, "I'm going," because he didn't come back.
So through all of that, even despite getting offers in the summer to move to other clubs, he stayed at Tottenham.
I'm guessing they just weren't offering.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Even though he must have known he wasn't going to be the number one this season.
It's not even the number 2.
It's number Forster, isn't it?
Forster's number 2. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me why he's still around.
I don't know.
I would say it's a bit harsh on Tottenham for disregarding a goalkeeper of his experience and stuff, but we've seen, he's been on the decline.
I don't have a problem with that. If they think it's time to move on, then it's time to move on.
Yeah, I don't know why he hasn't.
I don't think we owe him anything if he decides not to leave. If we've made it clear your future does not lie here, then I don't think that we're under any inclination to, okay, well, he decided to stay, so we need to show him some respect,
Right.
I think that, don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm not dissing Lloris at all, but you could tell the writing's, like you said, the writing's been on the wall. For the past few years, he's been on the decline.
Absolutely.
In that Spurs team. And last season, he was shocking, which is weird because there was a World Cup in the middle where he was actually really decent.
Yeah. Got to know a World Cup final with France.
I think he made a mistake in a French game. So even then, the cracks were starting to appear at international level. But yeah, I mean, it happens to everyone, doesn't it? Eventually, you just can't do what you used to do anymore. And you could tell that he's been on the decline for a few years. So I think, new manager, new start and everything like that. And we made it clear, he didn't finish out the season for us last season and he wasn't injured. He basically just...
I mean, that was pretty obvious to most people, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That he wasn't actually injured.
He was told, basically, your services will no longer be required for the rest of the season. So it was clear that, he made the decision not to move to any of those teams. We, greenlit every move, basically. I think he was waiting for one of the big teams to come in for him.
Do you think it's that, or do you think it's a money issue? Do you think he's stuck at Tottenham because they were paying him more than he was offered?
Both.
Right.
I think that... he was given the option to move to another team, but because they weren't huge teams, they obviously couldn't afford to pay him what he was on at Spurs.
AC Milan and Inter Milan, you said he was linked with. They're massive teams.
But it was one of the Milan teams, I'm sure. But it was just a link. I don't know if it was an actual offer or not. I'm not sure. But I'm guessing that they still saw him as a backup and they didn't want to pay him first team wages, so I guess that's where it comes in. I think it's a situation of both.
Maybe he was waiting for a Saudi Arabia move or an offer from there.
Maybe. Or I think he genuinely thought, there's going to be a big team that will be available, a team that's playing in the Champions League. I mean, Leipzig are in the Champions League, but, that they're not a huge club yet, are they? But I still think that would have been a decent move.
Leipzig, I think, would have been a decent move, yeah. I mean, they're still playing at they're playing in the Champions League, they're playing at a high standard in the Bundesliga.
I wouldn't have seen it. But I'm guessing they just couldn't match the wages that he wanted. I'm guessing that's what it is.
So, I mean, obviously De Gea, I guess, is kind of the same situation. He was clearly on the decline.
Yeah.
I mean, especially...
Although you say that.
What's that?
I think many Man U fans would gladly take the decline of De Gea now.
I mean, he won Golden Glove last season, right? He kept more clean sheets than anyone else. But obviously he made a lot of mistakes with his feet.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, a problem in the modern game.
Yeah.
And is this a reason why you think that these two couldn't find a decent club to go to?
Yeah.
That they are dinosaurs.
Yeah,
in this
because
day
they're so outdated and out-fashioned.
Dinosaurs that are out of date with what the modern goalkeeper is doing. And as we've seen this season with Man United, they've clearly gone on to new heights with this
massive upgrade.
This amazing goalkeeper that can play out from the back with his feet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not really.
I mean, that's what Ten Hag brought him in for, basically, wasn't it? Because apparently he's a ball-playing goalkeeper, even though I've seen him make 3 mistakes with his feet already this season.
I saw him playing in the Champions League final for Inter Milan. I wasn't that convinced, even though Guardiola turned around and said he was the best player in that match.
There's been a conspiracy theory come
out. I saw that, And Man United saw that and thought, we've got to get him then.
Yeah, before City game, yeah. I never rated him that highly anyway. I mean, he's all right, but I never thought he was a worldie. I mean, he didn't even look that good with his feet, I thought.
I mean, I think, obviously, if you're playing at the back for your feet and you're a goalkeeper, you're obviously going to make mistakes eventually.
Yeah.
But his shot stopping is terrible.
That's the thing, he's not a good goalkeeper either. That's the problem. Yeah.
I mean,
it's at least Lloris and De Gea were good shot stoppers, but they just couldn't.
I can think of at least 2 goals he's let in where his shot stopping has been terrible. The Bayern Munich game in the Champions League, let in a terrible goal there. The Brentford game last weekend.
Was that the one that just went under his hand?
Yeah, the Brentford player took a shot, went in the centre of the goal, didn't it?
Yeah, just kind of went under it.
It just went under his hand.
Yeah.
And just... there was a goal against Forest where the guy was 1-on-1 with him, and he tried to come out and then just ended up sitting on his arse.
Yeah.
While the guy scored, and I was like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah.
And there's the Wolves game where he nearly, killed the player.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically,
coming out and
assaulted
clattering him,
yeah,
clattering into him. Yes, I know it has not been a success so far.
Do you? I think Ten Hag's going to stick with him anyway.
Of course he is, yeah.
Because A, he hasn't got another option because Henderson's not there anymore.
No.
And B, stubbornness. No, I didn't make a mistake. No, I made the right decision.
Yeah, he totally is. But there's a lot of Man United fans at the moment who probably will be thinking, why is De Gea not still here instead of this guy?
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Even though we did see De Gea have problems last season with his kicking.
But I mean, as a former goalkeeper, granted I'm a dinosaur, I get that, but as a goalkeeper and as a coach, for me, the most important job of the goalkeeper is keep the ball out of the net. The rest is arbitrary, like you can't play with your feet. Okay, so we won't play out from the back with you then. Let someone else take the goal kick. If we are playing out from the back, try not to use the goalkeeper. Yeah. But personally, if I have a goalkeeper that's not good enough to do that, I wouldn't play out from the back anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not how football is anymore. Football is the only way to play football. The right way to play football is to play out from the back. And if you do anything differently, then you are an awful coach. You are just terrible at your job.
It seems to be this thought of like if you take a goal kick, that you're immediately losing possession, right?
Yeah.
But if you start playing out from the back, you're going to be losing possession in key areas.
Dangerous area, yeah.
Exactly. Like, I don't get it.
It's okay when you've got the players that can do that. And if you want to bring in the players to do that, then that's fine. Build towards that. But for me, it's like a goalkeeper, first and foremost, is a goalkeeper. Keep the ball out of the net. Can you do that well? Okay, great. The rest, don't worry about. I'm not bothered by that. But if you can't even make simple stops, if you're sat down easily on a 1v1 without providing any kind of danger, if you come out and basically mug someone in front of 90,000 fans, then...
There's another goal I just forgot about, against Galatasaray, where he gets chipped.
I don't remember that one.
He doesn't really... He shouldn't have been chipped from the position that he's in. But yeah, I mean, he at the moment is not ticking any boxes in terms of crosses, shot stopping, playing out from the back with your feet, anything at the moment for Man United, in my opinion. Maybe some Man United fans might disagree with me. I don't know.
I don't think you'll find many.
trying to use other examples. I mean, I think David Raya has been brought into the Arsenal team mainly for his kicking play at the back from the back. I saw a lot of stuff on. I didn't watch the Arsenal Man City game, unfortunately. Although I heard it was terrible.
Shocking in the first half.
I heard a lot.
Didn't really see a lot about him in the second, but Man City didn't really see a lot of in the second half. But in the first half, he was shocking.
Yeah, I heard a lot about him being slightly icky in possession. Taking too long to find somebody or whatever.
It's just he seemed erratic.
I mean, there was one incident where he kicked the ball against a Man City player and it almost went in the net, right?
Yeah, Julian Alvarez.
Yeah. So there's obviously that, but Arteta's obviously seen something in Raya that he thinks he's a better ball player at the front and back than Ramsdale is.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale, as we saw, did make some mistakes last season from playing out from the back. So, yeah, I'm thinking that's the reason he's coming ahead of Ramsdale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a statistic recently about Brighton having taken a goal kick, straight from the goal kick. They haven't booted it up the pitch. They've tried to play out the front and back from every single goal kick they've had this season. I don't know if that still stands right now. That was like a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, as a fan of these teams, it is worrying when you see the goalkeeper and defence playing out from the back.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately on edge.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it. And as a coach, I don't think I would be comfortable with it anyway. I mean, I was always taught there's a time and a place for everything, you know? Like, I don't have in fact, I don't have a problem with playing short from the back at all, because, I mean, I always used to encourage the teams I was coaching to do that, but I encouraged it in a way that made sense. Like, if like you come back, so this was before you could pass into the area, obviously, that makes it a lot easier now. But if you come back and the team follows you and presses, then go away again. And then if you drag them far enough away, can you make a quick movement back, and then can we play the ball while you've got space to play it in? But if you're passing it to someone in your 18-yard box and the opposition team is already right up on you, what's the point? And I've seen goal kicks taken where they're literally the distance between me and you here right now. I was always told and taught when I was becoming a coach, pass for a reason. What's the reason for me passing to you this far away? Am I dragging players out of position? Am I completely changing the outlook of the picture in front of me? No, it's pointless. What difference does it make whether you've got the ball or I've got the ball from this distance?
Yeah,
it. I don't know.
I mean, Tottenham were doing it a lot in the Arsenal game the other week.
Oh, they were so. I was like on this. I was like
pretty much inviting it on, especially in that first half.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There were a few times where they actually managed to get out, and I was like, "Wow, that was really good football."
I mean, I was very. That's the first time I've seen Van der Ven play, and I was quite impressed, considering he's quite tall.
Yeah,
that he had pretty good ball skills for a defender that tall. A Doggy, I was not as impressed with. He was a bit erratic, and Saka, tore him apart at times in that first half.
I think he's very much more a going forward kind of fullback, isn't he? Yeah. He doesn't really like to defend.
Yeah, so and Chelsea has his way of playing that's very much within the modern style of playing. And obviously, if you've got a team that's as good as that is good enough to play at the back, then obviously go for it. I mean, but we've even seen Man City make mistakes like this in the past. Yeah, it's playing at the back.
Very easily done, isn't it? Because it's in a position where if you do make a mistake, there is no cover, and you are likely to get very heavily punished for it. It's risk versus reward, isn't it? And I personally, other than keeping possession of the ball, don't really see the reward. I don't know. To me, the risk far outweighs the reward on this front. We still got the ball, great, but we've only got the ball in midfield at the best. It's not like we've penetrated their back line or anything like that. It feels like the risks far outweigh the rewards in this way of playing football. I don't know. It's weird because it's playing out from the back, but it's like I said, it's like static playing out from the back. It's like everyone stands still, and I pass you the ball, and then we play. It's like, whereas I always encourage movement. The other thing as well is if you've set up to play out from the back and you've pulled the team forward, there now should be more space in behind. So now actually it makes more sense to play a long goal kick than a short one. Yeah. Because you've dragged the team forward and there should now be loads of space in behind for you to actually pump a long ball into there. But of course that's ugly football and you shouldn't play football like that. That's people that play football like that should be flogged in public, naked, because that's not the right way to play football.
Yeah, I've heard Newcastle termed as like an ugly team to watch. Do they play out from the back, Newcastle?
I've seen them play out from the back. I
mean,
I haven't seen enough of
they're
Newcastle
notorious for time wasting, aren't they? Newcastle. But are there parallels as well with going back a few years now, but Joe Hart, I was
going to say that
2016.
He brought in Victor Valdez, basically, didn't he, for that reason? No. Victor Valdez went to City.
Claudio Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo. Valdez went to United, didn't he?
So, obviously Joe Hart had a pretty horrendous Euro 2016. Where obviously his shot stopping wasn't very good, because I think it was the winning Iceland goal that he could have easily been stopped. But obviously he came back to Man City and Guardiola was pretty adamant he didn't want him as his goalkeeper, even though he'd been the number one for City for years at this point and led them to league titles.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't adamant he was a goalkeeper he wanted. He couldn't play out from the back, apparently. He was adamant about that, and they brought in Cardia Bravo, who was dreadful.
Mm-hmm. But he could play with his feet.
But he could play with his feet. And I see a little bit similarity with those two, with Anana, a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, they brought in Edison eventually, and he was fantastic. He's been fantastic for Man City. He's come in. Yeah, so, I mean, I certainly don't think that De Gea and Lloris's careers are finished if they find, the right club for them.
I think their big club careers are finished.
Possibly.
I think that's done now. Because De Gea is a free agent. Someone would have snapped him up by now if they wanted
It's strange that still no one has gone after him at all. Like, even like an MLS team or a Saudi Arabian team. I'm sure he must have got offers, right?
You'd think so, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, he's free. He's free, and it's like...
I'm assuming he must have got offers, but wasn't particularly... Maybe he's waiting for January. Like, thinking he's going to get a big offer then, maybe. But... Same with Lloris, maybe waiting for January.
Do you not think that they would have got a bigger offer in, the summer rather than... January isn't really known for big moves, is it? Like most teams are...
Don't you think so?
I don't know. In January, it kind of feels like you'd be brought in more as an emergency than... As a goalkeeper, especially, more like we need cover. Rather than an actual... You're going to be my new number one kind of thing. I don't know.
You think that they're not going to find somewhere that they can be number one?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be a big club. I think that their big club careers are probably finished now, which is why I think Leipzig would have been a good move for Lloris. I think that's probably... If he wants to be a number one as well, I think that's the level he's kind of going to be at now, I think. I don't think that...
Yeah.
What is he, 35 now? 34, 35?
Lloris?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about something like that.
Yeah,
he's older than De Gea, right?
Yeah, so you think that he's probably only got, 4 or 5 years left in him, probably? I mean, I know goalkeepers can go longer, but...
I can see him ending up in MLS or Saudi or Qatar or something like that, probably.
I thought I don't know, I thought he'd want to go back to France, but... I think he was hoping like PSG or Lyon or something like that was going to come in for him.
PSG come in for him.
No.
Unless they want him as a backup.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what the situation is there. And the De Gea one's very weird because remember all that time ago where he was touted, he's going to be Real Madrid's. He's going to Madrid. Madrid really want him. And
yeah, I mean, kind of lost the boat there.
And then he was free, and Real Madrid lost Courtois and decided to go with Kepa Arrizabalaga.
You mentioned that on the podcast you recently did. Well, I wasn't on. Yeah, they went for Kepa instead of...
That's how far he's fallen.
Strange.
The Real Madrid were desperate to sign him at one point. Now they can have him for free, and their number one is injured, and they still go for Kepa.
Was Kepa a cheaper option?
On loan? I don't know. He's got to be massive wages at Chelsea, surely. I mean, they signed him for £1 billion, so they've got to be paying him at least 100 million a week or something.
I mean, again, is De Gea's wages a problem as well?
But again, over Kepa. Kepa's wages have got to be higher than De Gea's now, surely.
They shouldn't be.
The world's most expensive goalkeeper. You don't think he's on a huge wage at Chelsea? With a 12-year contract or something stupid like that, was it?
I can't remember. It was 7 or 8 or something, wasn't it?
It was something ridiculous. It was a massive contract. The world's most expensive goalkeeper. You think he's going to go in there and go, I will play for £250 a week, no problem. Defies
logic, doesn't it? I
mean, he's going to be on at least...
I would have thought Ancelotti would have been more interested in De Gea.
300, you reckon? Probably. Because I think the problem is you're never going to get a goalkeeper that's that good with their feet because... That's not their job. Their bread and butter, training sessions for 90% of the time is goalkeeping, shot stopping, claiming, communication, set pieces, things like that. They're training with their feet for less than a tenth of what outfield players are. So they're never going to be as good as an outfield player. They're always going to have to take an extra touch to get the ball under control, to play it out. And that extra touch then gives the attacking players obviously time to close them down. You're never going to get a goalkeeper that's going to be completely comfortable playing one-touch football.
No.
They're never going to be comfortable, especially when you've got the goal behind you. Because you're like, if I don't get the ball under control first, there is a high likelihood it's going in the net. So I need to get the ball under control first. Unless they're just going to pump it upfield and don't care where it goes. One touch, bang, get it up. They'll be okay with that. But if you're asking them to play short, tiki-taka football, they are never going to be as comfortable as an outfield player playing one touch. That is never going to happen. And you take that first touch, that gives the attacking team a lot of time to press you down.
So is this all down to Manuel Neuer? People saw him and like, well, that's the way a goalkeeper's got to play,
but
right?
again, he's not that good with his feet. He still needs to take a couple of touches, you know. I mean, you say sweeper keeper, but I mean, even I was taught to do that in the 90s. You know, don't stand in your 6-yard box. Get out. Move up. Move up with the play. You need to be an option in case they need you, or you need to be there to defend just in case the ball comes over the top. You're the last man. So even I was taught that in the 90s. That's not a new thing. I don't know why people, and commentators especially, started thinking this was a new, sweeper keeper, new sweeper keeper. It's like, that's been a thing since the 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think this is something brand. It's
I'm
just,
guessing keepers weren't doing it at that point, right?
I think a lot of keepers. The difference is that most teams, at all costs, would avoid passing to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, that's not his job. His job is the last line of defence. You're there to keep the ball out of the net. That's your one job, you know. I mean, I was taught, and I've always taught when I've coached as well, is your priorities as a goalkeeper. Your first priority is relieve pressure. That means, like, can you catch the ball rather than punch it? Can you hold on to the ball a little bit longer just to calm things down? Relieve pressure is your first priority. Second priority is deflect away. Get the ball away from the goal. You know, if you can make the save, push it out for a throw-in. Don't put it back into the danger area.
Of course, yeah.
And your third priority is keep the ball out no matter what. If that means you need to save it with your face, save it with your face. If that means you're getting hit in the nuts, you're getting hit in the nuts.
Yeah.
And that means that if you can't deflect it away, and the only way you're going to keep that ball out of the net is putting it back into the danger area, just do that. And then hope that your defence is on form to actually get rid of the ball for you. But so those are your priorities. So if you're taught the first thing to do is relieve pressure, the last thing you want is the ball. Don't give it to me because I'm in the most dangerous position here. If I'm put under pressure, instantaneously I am no longer relieving pressure because now I'm put under pressure. There was a game I played in a couple of years ago. I went to go play for a club that I was asked to go and coach for. And then I showed up to coach and I was like, hi, Richard, I've been sent. He's like, oh, you're the goalkeeper, right? I'm like, I'm a goalkeeper, but I don't know if I'm the goalkeeper. And he's like, oh, I've been told that there's someone coming down because we need a goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper's injured for this weekend. Can you play in goal? I was like, I mean, I was, but that was like 28 years ago. And I'm like, I'm nowhere near the person I was when I was 16. So I'm like, I mean, yeah, no. I mean, and he's like, could you do us a massive favour? And I was like, okay. I kind of felt weird saying no because I was there coaching. And I went to go play and the game started out all right. It was pretty comfortable, pretty easy. I knew the game plan. The game plan was don't play out from the back. Right. If I get the ball, take as much time as I possibly can on the ball, long goal kicks, get it away. Right. And, you know, and I was like, okay, that's fine by me. I get that. I'm more comfortable playing like that anyway. So that's fine. And there was a situation where a player was running back towards our goal. The right back was running back towards the goal and he had a man right on him. And I just said, not here, away, because I thought the ground is horrible. You pass it to me, there's a chance it gets caught up. There's a chance it bobbles. there's all these chances that something's going to go wrong. I was just like, just put it out for a throw, and we'll sort out the throw. We'll be much more comfortable defending a throw-in than you passing me the ball now. So I was like, not here, out. And he passed it back to me, and I was like, fucking idiot. And I was like, I can't hit this first time because it's ball's bobbling all over the place. And I'm like, I'm going to swish at it. It's going to hit the outside of my foot and it's going to spin in behind me. So I had to take a touch to try and get it onto my left foot to just punt it out for a throw in on the other side. And the problem is that as it was bobbling, he's shouting at me, just get rid. And I'm like, I can't now. I've taken the touch and it's got stuck. And I'm just like, that is exactly what I didn't want to have. Sorry, language. So I've taken the touch and it's got caught in the mud. It's got caught up, and I'm like, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So now I've had to take an extra touch, which has given the attacker loads of time to get on top of me, and he's just closed the ball down. And I've gone to kick it, and he's just blocked it, and it's bobbled for him, and he's gone in, and that's it. And that was the first goal we conceded, and that was in like the 28th minute or something like that of the game. So like nearly half an hour, it was going pretty well. I made a few saves. I was pretty comfortable. There was no one was panicking. Everyone was fine. It was just this one situation. And I said to him, I communicated with him, not here, put it out. You know, clearly I do not want the ball. Don't give it to me. And he passed it to me. And then he's having a go at me saying, just get rid of it. Why didn't you just kick it? And I was like, it was bobbling around. I couldn't hit that first time. Why didn't you just put it out like I told you to? But because I'm the new guy, obviously everyone's now agreeing with him and they're arguing with me, and it's the goalkeeper's fault. And now we're under pressure because now we got to try and score, and then that's when we stopped defending very well, and they scored another 4 goals after that. Okay. I would say none of them were my fault though. In fact, I pulled off a really good save on one of them. I was going one way, and the guy shot and it deflected off the other guy, so I had to quickly stick out my leg to save it in the other direction. So I'm going the wrong way, and I still managed to save it. Gave a corner. Corner came in, caught it, took the pressure off. You know, I was just like, yeah, I'm doing all right. I was quite happy with the game afterwards, but apparently everyone thought I was crap. And I was like, screw you then.
So that's another thing you brought up then.
Sorry.
The weather. Mm-hmm. I mean, depending on what the weather is, you can't always play out from the back, right?
I mean, modern pitches, I would say, is not necessarily the problem.
I mean, obviously the Premier League, you get better quality pitches than you played on.
Yeah.
But surely, at some point, you're going to be playing on a pitch which you can't play it from the back because the weather is not.
Well, Chelsea's pitch looked really bad. Like their last home game, I don't know what's going on with their pitch, but it looked really bad. But yeah, that's the point. Is that lower down? Obviously, that's going to play more of a bearing. Obviously, I would actually say it's the opposite at the higher levels, because if it's windy and raining, the chances that if you're kicking into the wind, playing long is very hard. Because if the ball gets caught up in the wind and then it starts to come back.
It depends on the wind as well, yeah.
Exactly. I would say the weather plays into. The only other one I would say is like the sun in your eyes is a big factor sometimes. So if I'm like right in the sun and I'm already squinting, don't pass me the ball, because there is a strong chance I might miss you passing it to me. You know? So, but yeah, what was my point anyway? Oh yeah, the priorities. That was it. My priorities. So you know, my priority. I was always taught like relieve the pressure. So don't pass to the goalkeeper, because now you're putting me under pressure and you're putting the team under pressure. So I think that's why you didn't really notice it until like Neuer, because most teams didn't pass to the goalkeeper unless they had to. You know.
I mean, I imagine the managers are trying to change that mindset.
Yeah.
Of goalkeepers to be more comfortable on the ball.
Right? But then you need to be willing to put up with the mistakes. But they don't seem to be.
I don't know, are they?
I think it's kind of a bit of both.
I mean, Onana would have been out the team weeks ago, wouldn't he?
I think that's just a stubbornness decision. I think he knows that it's not working, but he doesn't want to admit he's wrong.
No.
Because admitting you're wrong is opening yourself up to being fired. Whereas I think it should be the other way around. I think it should be very much if I notice something's going wrong and I rectify or make moves to rectify that situation, then I should be praised for that, not punished for it, right? But that doesn't seem to be the world that we live in just in general, let alone in football.
You think the goalkeepers should play out from the back then?
if they can, and it's the right situation to do so, yeah. I mean, I personally, but I'm a dinosaur. I'm Joe Hart, basically. Yeah. I personally, as a goalkeeper, would not want to receive a ball when there is a player inside the 18-yard box. I'd be like, do not pass it to me in this situation. It is way too dangerous. There is no possible... the risk far outweighs the reward here. Just get rid. That would be my philosophy. But I'm a dinosaur. Maybe these new breed of goalkeepers are very much like, no, pass me the ball. I want the ball. I personally don't think that they are, though. I think loads of goalkeepers are like, what are you doing passing to me there? What am I supposed to do with that?
I think that probably the top managers are willing to put up with mistakes if you're playing out from the back because they know
this is what I'm saying,
risk that is going to happen.
I think they do and I think they don't. I think that if a mistake is made and a goal is led, they'll be the first ones to be like, what the fuck you fucking... Like, really annoyed on the touchline. But then I think that they'll be like, well, this is how I want to play. Maybe later on once they calm down and think about it. I don't know. But, like, I mean, when Raya kicked the ball against Julian Alvarez.
Yeah, Arteta was like, ugh.
Fuming. He was like, what are you doing? You know, like, and it's like, well, you want us to play like this. You can't have a go at us when you want me to play like this.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, is that they want you to play like that, but they want you to be perfect at it. And if you do make a mistake, you're going to hear about it, you know? And it's like... Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They accept it, but they also don't accept it. Like, if you truly accepted it, if they made a mistake, you'd just go, okay, fair enough. I asked him to do that, and there was always a high likelihood that something like that was going to happen. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, the manager's not going to come out and slaughter him in the press conference.
No, but even on the sideline, he should be like, you know, okay, well, I asked him to do that, and that is a possibility that might happen, so that's fair enough. But they don't. They get fuming and angry with them, and you know, Arteta was pissed, and it was like, well, hang on a minute, That's what I'm talking about. How they accept it, but they don't accept it. You know, that's what I meant by that. Don't get angry when you ask me to do something, and I say, well, I'm not very good at that, and it goes wrong. You know, like I can't rewire a house, for instance. So if you ask me to do it and you insist I do it, and your house burns down, that's awful. That's not mine. I told you I can't do that. But yeah, I don't know. Just. I blame that Barcelona team. That's what it was.
Which one?
You said the Barcelona team.
Oh, what, the Guardiola one?
Yeah. You say like, do you think it began with Neuer? But I think it began with that Barcelona team.
Was Valdes playing out from the back?
Yeah, but that's the whole reason that Man U bought him as well, wasn't it? For that, he could play out from the back. You know, like.
Okay. Don't remember that much. Obviously, you remember the tiki taka stuff.
And then Ter Stegen obviously is a. He does that as well, doesn't he? He's very play out from the back. I mean, all goalkeepers are play out from the back these days, you know. Even ones in language, Richard.
Even
the ones in the National League are like play out from the back goalkeeper, aren't they? You know. I mean, maybe like it's a thing where it needs to become something where, you know, eventually it will get to a point where a goalkeeper is literally just as good with their feet as an outfield player because training will evolve in that direction. Now that we've established that this is what we want to happen. It's kind of like how, so when 3 points were introduced in basketball, 3-pointers were very, very rare when it was first introduced. It wasn't until like the next generation came up through that 3-pointers started to become more of a regular thing. And now teams hit 3-pointers constantly.
Of course,
because it was always trained initially. So like that Bulls team, the really famous Chicago Bulls team, they all sucked at 3-pointers. Most of their points came from the 2-point zone or you know, layups and dunks and things like that. That's where the majority of it. So 1-pointer, 2-pointers, very few 3-pointers. And it wasn't until like the mid-2000s that 3-pointers really started to become more of a much more regular occurrence. And now, like, they hit 3 points all the time in games. You know, it's a regular thing. Like, there are teams like or players that like go into the 2 and specifically dribble out over the 3-yard line in order to shoot a 3-pointer. Because now that was a thing that was established, it was trained on more. Whereas before it was more trained on, no, just, you know, easy points, layups, and things like that. You know,
so get to the basket.
Yeah, get the points on the board. You know, whereas now it's more like we can outscore the other team, so that's what we train more. We train for 3-pointers. So maybe we will get to a point where, you know, the next generation of goalkeepers coming through are absolutely fantastic because training has changed.
Yeah, and they'll be fucking dribbling the ball over the oncoming striker. Yeah,
I mean, you already see some of it sometimes. I mean, like, you mentioned Emerson and, like, Allison. Edison.
Yeah.
I always, because I couldn't get confused with, like, Middlesbrough Emerson.
Yeah, Emerson, yeah.
Edison and Allison, they do that sometimes. I've seen them out-dribble like a player sometimes. I've seen a goalkeeper put it through an attacker's legs and take it back on the other side. So it's starting to happen.
I mean, it does make me feel like a bit like a dinosaur, really.
It does, but I also just feel like
I remember reading the stuff online after the Arsenal Man City game about some Arsenal fans like defending David Raya and saying, "Oh, they didn't understand what he was trying to do." The fans were booing. And they were like, didn't understand what he's trying to do on the ball. Like,
I think
clearly.
It's because he messed up in the Champions League against Lens the midweek before.
Yeah.
Where he kicked it. But then I thought that was quite the opposite. He tried to kick it long and miskicked it and kicked it straight to a player. It wasn't a short back pass playing out from the back that he messed up.
So yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, you know, is football passing us by?
Yes.
With this playing out from the back, yeah, I think it probably is if you want your goalkeeper to be a fucking playmaker.
That's always going to happen, you know. Like football, you know, sport in general is always going to move on, and you know they'll do things that, you know, back in my day they never used to do that, you know, like
of course,
you know, like I'm trying to think of Moneyball, for instance, you know. Like baseball, it was always done the same way, and then this one guy comes in and does it slightly differently, and now everyone does that. You know, like it's all about like, you know, runs on base. You know, it's about runs now. It's not about like home runs and stuff like that. It's about getting on base, get on base, get on base.
That makes
sense.
Base. Yeah, I mean, ticky-tacky football as well was like that for a while, wasn't it? You're just like, just get in the box, just cross it in. But they're like, no, got to keep possession, got to pass. That's the way you play football. I mean, we saw it with Spain in the World Cup, the very big example of them, you know, having like 80% possession or something.
I mean,
and they had no attacking threat whatsoever.
Maybe it is just a case that obviously football's passing us by, you know, because I mean, I enjoy. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with possession football. That doesn't bother me. But my point is possession with a purpose. I don't see the point of just, we can move the ball around. Oh, he's got 700 completed passes in this game. It's like, all of them are 3 yards. What difference does that make, you know?
That and the XG annoys me.
XG, yeah.
That's very much new.
But I mean...
They should be scoring 2.5 goals per game.
I mean, I'm guessing that this is the thing that happened in, like the early 1900s when teams actually, you know, a team actually came in and started passing the ball. Everyone was like, what are they doing? What's going on? Because before that, football was basically like 1 man versus 11. It was like, if you tackle someone, you now try and get the ball to the goal. And if someone tackles you, they try and get the ball to your goal. Right, and if you tackle them, you try and get... And it was basically that passing wasn't a thing.
When they start passing, like, the game's gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there would have been a point where
numbers on their
team shows up, probably Italian or Hungary or someone like Czechoslovakia in that point, probably turned up and was like, we could do. Pass the ball. And then other teams were like, what is this madness? You know, like, it's the same thing with... So when England played Brazil... in the 50s, like we were still doing all of the stretching, what, and all that, you know. And the Brazilian team were like doing like active movements, you know, like volley in the air and like skipping on the spot and like, you know, movement stretches and things. And the England team were like, what are they doing, those fools? Those bloody rascals! What are they up to?
They're popping their pipe.
Yeah, silly boys! Look at them, they look like a bunch of fools! And it's like, well, now it's like, everyone does that now. You know, it's like, so I agree. I think that it is probably we've got to that age now where it is starting to move into a different phase that we can't really follow. You know,
did you know that Chelsea have won every single game this season on XG?
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's all you need to know.
That's the statistics for you. They should be top of the league.
Was that answered your question, Tom? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a discussion about that, you know.
Yeah.
And bring a light to these two forgotten goalkeepers who desperately need a club.
Yeah.
If you're a club and you're looking for a goalkeeper,
dial 0800. And before we wrap up, we obviously need to give a shout out to our patron supporters. So big thank you to Cole Worley, still our first and only patron supporter. So please do think about going and supporting the show. You can have early access to shows. You could have watched us live recording this one now. And also you are able to, with the right membership, appear on shows. Give us topics for shows that you'd like to see. Any of our shows. It doesn't have to just be this one, but yes. So please do think of heading over there and supporting. You can support from as little as £1. Or if you are more comfortable with a one-off payment, you can also click the PayPal link. There should also be a QR code down there somewhere towards the end of this video. You can also scan that and that'll take you to our page as well. But yes, thank you very much, Cole Worley. You are a member of the Hoi Polloi. Well, no Hall of Fame because it's a Minisode.
Indeed it is. Yeah.
So Hall of Fame will return on the next full episode. But until then, thank you for joining me, Tom.
Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. And whatever team you are supporting today or tomorrow or Monday, hopefully your goalkeeper doesn't mess up. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Take it to the corner flag. No more questions from the local rag.